If you ask me, or when you ask me about the common factors or the common foundation of extremism, it is really just ignorance. As human beings, it is natural for us to feel connection with certain things. It could be beauty, it could be human suffering, connection in a good or positive or negative way, because we're human beings and we are thinking beings, sentient beings. So we see some beautiful thing and we want to react to it. The wise person, as he deepens or she deepens knowledge and broadens horizon, learns not to just react but respond. That comes through education and reflection and life experiences. But we all as human beings want to react, flee from danger, go towards peace or safety. I want to be happy and not unhappy, and that seems like a miserable place. I'll sit in that company, they seem to be more fun. It's just natural. I think these natural instincts, these kind of feelings that we have sometimes become jarred, unbalanced, because we don't know enough. That's what I mean by ignorance. I'm not trying to label people or put ourselves down. We are all people of dignity, of respect. Every human being, regardless of faith or no faith, have the human dignity of intellect, reasoning, and then the emotions that they connect. But then, of course, if you don't know enough about something, you could be fearful. So the common thing is ignorance, in that sense, and then driven by fear. So naturally, if I'm afraid of, let's say, too many people who are unlike me coming into my community to settle, asylum seekers or refugees, immigrants, what have you, from whichever country, part of the world, whatever their skin color, but the thing is they're different. And I don't know enough about them. And then they seem to be doing things differently to the degree it begins to impact on my culture or my values, even worse. So it's something I can tolerate. Oh, they dress in that way, I dress in this way. Okay, fine. But when the values come in and it's different and it's not a one-off and it's persistent and then by a wide body of people, I become fearful. Oh, I don't want my children to become like them. It doesn't even have to be something violent. I'm just fearful of losing my values with which my grandfather had brought my parents and me and my children I'm trying to bring up, although we have slight differences, but them lot are going to change my way and my values. So this is not, it's not intolerant, it's a kind of realism where we have not managed to share enough to understand, is this really a problem of values? Is it so threatening after all? Are we likely to get swamped or overtaken by what? I mean, really, if I say I really don't like the birth rate of the brown people in my community because in 50 years' time, the whites are going to become the minority or the browns are going to become minority and the blacks will take over. This is racist language. Absolutely wrong. So what? What if everybody in Bangladesh were black? What difference does it make to me? Or white, or brown, or whatever other color you choose? But the values are important now. What if everybody in my country, Britain, became such that they no longer support tolerance and respect of each other? Well, I certainly don't want that. As a Muslim, as a human being, as a British person, I don't want it. So now if I know that you are actually going to be a threat to that value of respect and tolerance, I should feel concerned. So I think extremism builds on that. All extremists, far right, far left, Islamic one, Hindu nationalists, it doesn't matter. Lord's Resistance Army, the Christians in Indonesia, Nigeria, we have Christian-Muslim conflict as well. It doesn't matter. Things have gone wrong, some injustices have occurred perhaps, and then we generalized it. We didn't communicate and mix enough, didn't share experience, we didn't understand what is at stake, the values, we didn't reasonably talk about how to solve the problems, or growing problems. Then one thing leads to another and these speakers come along and create more and more hatred. So I think it's fundamentally important, whichever community or political system we live in, that we are very careful about hate preachers, not religious ones, only religious ones. Hate preachers, those who preach hatred and division. because that always erects barriers against communication and education. It will always be flawed, but we need to mix, mingle, talk, share, and together try and resolve.